What kind of person are you? I'm watching CNBC. Goldman Sachs, the premier investment banker left in the United States, is down $25 a share, 13%, more than 13%. They're being charged with the criminal activity, a fraudulent criminal activity with the mortgage crisis, and dealing with a hedge fund manager named Paulson, not Treasury Secretary Paulson, who used to work at Goldman Sachs or does, whatever. This Paulson and Company, evidently they did some kind of a criminal, uh, something criminal. This Paulson guy made over $2 billion 2 years in a row as a hedge fund with his own hedge fund. He got a license for his own hedge fund company. And in his own personal pocket, he put over $2 billion in his own personal pocket 2 years in a row, betting that the mortgage, on the mortgage crisis. They said he's number 45 richest man in the country. You know, well over, I think, $10 billion in personal, in his bank account, in his assets. And personal paycheck the last 2 years, over $2 billion per year. And the Dow's down 134 points right now, 1.2%. Goldman Sachs is down, what I say, 20-some%. Well, you see, I've used that $2 billion paycheck. I've used every paycheck I've read about in the Wall Street Journal since I was 16. I've used those as minimum wage. No, Goldman Sachs down 13%, 25 points, 13.76%. You see, I've used all these people as inferior to me in IQ score. What they do, I could do. You see, people say, you know, in order to have a job and get paid, are you capable of doing it? Well, as an engineer, engineers say they're capable of doing anything. You see, capable of doing it, well, that is an issue. Getting paid to do it, that's the other issue. This friend of mine from Purdue Krannert, who has a metallurgical engineering degree, said, I could go out to the Royals and give up 5 runs as a pitcher. And I said, yeah, I know you could do that. But could you get paid money to do it? Because all that matters is getting paid money to do it. Because who cares, you know? It's all about the money. Good you get paid money to go out there and give up 5 runs? All these stupid analogies. It's all about money. I'm about money. I've always been about money. You know, and based on every precedent I experienced in business, dating back to Safeway during a strike as a scab, when I was 16 before high school diploma, being a Kansas scholar at Woolworths, that member of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, being told I'm no different than everybody else, and I was getting a buck an hour, whatever to do, everything I did. You know, the precedents of these little faggots in Kansas telling me my degrees don't matter at the Kansas Securities Commission, these faggots who claim to be lawyers. The faggots at Merrill Lynch, Smith Barney, and Payne Weber going around telling me my degrees don't matter and I'm not qualified to work there. I don't pass their faggot little baby faggot test. You know, and then people say, well, that's, the standard test by the NASD to get a stockbroker license or securities license, you know, they have their own test at Smith Barney, their own test at Merrill Lynch. It has nothing to do with the standardized test. See, everybody makes up their own little bullshit. You know, well, that's their rules in that office. That's their rules for there. You know, it has nothing to do with, you know, the rules in Kansas City are different than the rules in Wall Street. They're different than the rules in the NASD. See, everybody else makes up all this goddamn bullshit against me, and all I have to say is, where's my $100 billion, punks? I'm supposed to be the richest motherfucker you ever saw in your life since May of '85 when I got that piece of paper with Krannert, because if you say it doesn't matter, you're a high school flunky. You know, if you say I didn't get straight A's in mechanical engineering at Oklahoma State, anyone who says that I invite to go try and pass the first semester at Oklahoma State. You know, the people at Oklahoma State who did graduate with mechanical engineering who flipped me shit, several of those people flipped me shit because they couldn't get into Purdue Krannert or an equivalent type top school. And I guess some of the people who went to the University of Texas, because Texas seems to be the big school in Oklahoma, they tried to set me up with other people, you know. Well, this guy's got a higher grade point and he's bigger than you. What's his ACT and GMAT? Higher grade point 7 or 8 years. You know, everybody likes to play that game with me. They can't beat me. So they got to think of something to beat me with, or it's, you know, it's all bullshit. And then, of course, it is, what do I personally do? What do you do? Well, I'm not getting paid money to do a goddamn thing, and I've worked at Video Corner as a so-called investor stock owner, through a trust. First, it's always misleading, one thing. If you want to know what somebody does, get a video camera like this, UCam, and show what they do for a whole month. Everything that individual does, exactly what they do, and that's what the hell they do. And then get how much money they get paid to do it, whether they get a paycheck as an employee or a business license as an owner, whatever. And then show exactly what they do and how much money they get to do whatever it is they do. And then say, well, why do they get a paycheck? Why do they get more paycheck? Why does the chairman of General Motors get more paycheck than the guy at the General Motors assembly plant in Kansas City, Kansas, whatever? Why is he the chairman over everyone else? Why does Ford pay their guy, with his PhD from whatever in Kansas, mechanical engineer? What was his GMAT score? Why do they even have a business license to exist? Why does Stowers at American Century get a business license and, allowed to operate with his Missouri degree? Oh, because he put Missouri on the map. Well, if my daddy went to Wharton School of Finance and Harvard Law, I never believed it because he's got no credibility. He's not a trillionaire and he doesn't live in a mansion. And he talks like it doesn't matter and says it doesn't matter and says my degrees don't matter. Says degrees don't matter. See, that's another crux of my issue is this lunatic who claims to be my father who's not a billionaire. Says don't tell people you got degrees don't matter. And he supposedly has his Harvard Law degree and Wharton Econ degree. And all the mafia stories about him getting killed and this guy stealing his identity and skeletons in the closet. Well, there really are skeletons in the closet. There's a dead body in the closet in the Merrill Lynch office. Your daddy opened up the Merrill Lynch office. He did what they told him at Wharton. He opened it up in Kansas City, and then they killed him. The locals killed him. The skeleton's in the closet. How many times have I heard bullshit? All this bullshit I've heard. I need $1 trillion handed to me on a silver platter, and these people need to be stuck in maximum lockdown for the rest of their lives because they are mafia murdering punks. And I don't know if there's any place in the United States where that doesn't exist. If there's any place in the United States where people are not lying mafia idiot punks, I'd like to know it. Because, you know what? I need my $1 trillion on the silver platter. Precedent. Paycheck. Precedent that ownership never mattered since age 16. Precedent that ownership didn't matter. Wasn't even looked at. Was laughed at. Ignored after my master's. Precedent paycheck. Precedent in business license. I need $1 trillion on a silver platter, punks. That's the kind of person I am. What are you people? Little Nazi communist baby faggots?